My name is Rafael Escobar, also known as Coach Raf. Today I'm here to share a little bit more about my personal story, the person behind the trainer. And here's the reason why is I think that we're in a space and age where a lot of what's really happening isn't being talked about. And at the expense of that is real happiness, real love. And that's why I'm here. I'm ready to stand up for what really matters, and that's feeling good. I hope that through the narrative of my story, you can see that no matter what you've been through, no matter the struggles that you've encountered, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and there's always light that you can create in every day, okay? So here it goes. I was born and raised in Santa Rosa, California, which is in Northern California. I come from an immigrant Hispanic family. I am a first generation Salvadorian. And the reason why this is key to the story is because, guys, I grew up eating tortillas, rice, beans, all the heavily addicted, heavy feeling good types of foods. In addition to that, my mother is a district manager for Burger King. And at the time growing up, we had access to free Burger King every single day. God bless her soul for feeding her children. But on the back end, the knowledge that we didn't have then is the knowledge we have now. That those foods are addicting, that they're harmful physically, mentally, and emotionally. And especially when you're eating them every day. In addition to that, guys, I had a tough childhood. I grew up in a space where my father was physically, mentally, and emotionally so abusing. This guy comes from a time of war, a time of real fright and just horror. And he brought that into our household. Physically, he beat my ass. He hit me with a belt, hit me upside the head. He just would take advantage of me. Mentally, he made me feel like I was the worst thing alive. Like I didn't mean shit. He would talk shit to his son. Emotionally, he made me feel like I was the root of all his issues. And here's the thing is, I no longer blame him. He did what he needed to do and he did his best. But at the end of the day, it created a ton of resentment, a ton of anger, and a ton of violent energy, enough to want to kill somebody inside of a young person. That's who I was. I was controlled. I couldn't speak. I couldn't act. I didn't feel good. Going to school was my only liberation. Coming home was a war zone. So, needless to say, the childhood was tough. I found myself at the age of 13 weighing 242 pounds, carrying all that anger, carrying all that emotion, feeling like I never fit in, feeling like I was always the fat kid, feeling like I was Hispanic so I didn't mesh with everybody else, feeling so low about myself that life was just heavy. In addition to that, my parents were going through a divorce. And through this divorce, I experienced a lot of feelings of betrayal, a lot of rage, and a lot of sadness. Seeing my mom, seeing my dad, seeing my sisters just crying, that'll do something to a young boy. But the thing is, I was already a young man. My dad started treating me like a man when I was 6. So by the time 13, it was just like, dude, you're a man. And it's like, what? So all those feelings of heaviness molded this kid that had a lot to give. But once it felt like everyone left me, I had to harness that within. And this is where I learned self-love. I took all that energy and I put it in high school. I put it into my grades. I got a 4.0 throughout all high school. I put it into my sports. I played football. I played rugby. And the thing that I wasn't doing or seeing at the time was that I took all that energy and put it into work to where it felt good, getting rewards, getting compliments. Yeah. Here's the thing though, is deep down inside, I was broken. I had no love, didn't feel good about home, so couldn't feel good anywhere else. I took that energy with me into the world. I went to, after high school, community college. Then after community college, I went to the University of California, San Diego. I'm extremely proud. And here's the reason why. It's difficult to get in there. And it's hard, and you really got to work hard. So people ask me, like, how'd you get that discipline? It's because my dad would beat my ass if I didn't have good grades. He beat my ass if I took a step right, but he wanted me to go left. So with that kind of force, you have to produce results in my eyes. So I trained myself the same way. Not only in the gym, but in work and everything that I did, because rather than take all that anger and throw it into the streets and go beat somebody up or go to jail, I was like, let me do something good with this energy. So I went to college, got my degree in environmental engineering, worked in the field for 2 years, right? Then Up until this point, you're like, all right, cool, he's working, he's doing his thing. But what y'all don't realize is that shit is hard and it's lonely and it's tough. So you get to a space of 26, 2 years into my engineering field, thinking I had it all figured out, and I get fired. Granted, I wasn't performing well, but still the amount of pressure I felt at that time, the only thing I could do was go to what felt good. So I went back to learning, and I chose my passion to become a personal trainer to help people just learn some of the skills that I had. But as my time in a personal trainer, I learned even more how to train the right way, how to eat the right way, how to do things in the right way. Because I was still training like a football player and being that football player. That whole life brought me all the way up to 2019 when I was 30 years old. And at that point in time, I had already spent 3 years as a trainer in a gym. Then I went 1 year to open up my own training business. So on the outskirts, everything is still going good, right? 2020 hits, coronavirus. Now we navigate into an online business, show it on Instagram, getting a lot of feedback. People are like, boom, good, right? But this is what we don't realize, is that mental, physical, and emotional trauma never leaves us until we access it. And for me, guys, if it wasn't for working out all those years, I swear I don't know where I would be. I would have jumped off a bridge. I would have done something ridiculous just because of so much anger and hatred that I had inside of me. And I don't use those terms lightly because I know what depression is like. I just never spoke about it. I know what anger is like. I just never spoke about it. I let my actions do the talking, and in the work world, I was good. In the home world, I was not good. But no one knew that because I didn't speak up. So what did it result to? It resulted to terrible habits. Not only did I have that experience of being extremely overweight at the age of 13, but to top things off, I lost that weight in high school, right? Then went up to about 200 in my 20s. And then from 20 to 30, it was an ongoing cycle of drinking crazy on the weekends, eating burritos, crazy working out during the week, drinking crazy on the weekends, eating burritos, training during the week. And that cycle took a toll on me. In 2018, right, when things at work were going good, things in the home, drink, 2018 hits, guess what happens to me? I go to jail. I don't know how else to say it. I got hit with a drunk in public. Was it something major? No, it was a misdemeanor. It was something, being drunk, we'll slap it off. But what no one saw was that's the second time that happened to me. What no one saw was I got my growth. Brandon Burchard, I'm a good guy. I'm a personal development guy while I'm sitting in the jail cell. Why? Because I was so angry. I was so sad. I was so broken. I didn't feel good. And what we don't realize is that that's where that shit comes from your traumas, from you not accessing it. Granted, I have my workouts to keep me feeling good and my health and keeping that in check. But what we don't see is the anger and the pain that people go through. And guys, I'm sharing this because it's important. And I believe it's important we address those feelings. So what happens is in 2018, one of my drunken events got me to jail. I didn't know what had happened. I thought I could have killed somebody. I thought anything could happen. So that was my awakening. That's when I said, no more. That's when I decided to get a hold. I changed the way I worked out. I changed the way I ate. I stopped doing things out of aggression. I stopped blaming the world for what was going on with me. I stopped being the victim. I took control of my life. This is why I care so much about health and fitness, because the only thing that held me throughout that time up until now was my health and fitness. When I felt good about my workouts, when I began to feel good about my body, and when I got firm control over my habits, when I faced all my demons and said no all the times I wanted to say yes, that's when I found myself. That's why I bring that energy into everything that I do, because that's what I want people to feel. I want them to feel self-belief. I want them to feel self-love. I want them to feel self-passion. I want them to feel the best they've ever felt, because we suffered too much. We went through too much to not feel it. And it's nowhere else besides inside of here. I share with you my pain. I share with you my trauma. I share with you my experience to tell you that now I'm a new person. I'm a new man. I have good relationships. I have the love of my life. I have a daughter on the way. I have a thriving business, and I just love life. All I want to do is share this passion with others because it's found in the way you see yourself. It's found in the way you respect yourself, and it's found in the way that you treat yourself. So today, I hope if anything, you got a little bit of my passion to take along with you and to let you know that no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're going through, everything's going to be okay. All right, y'all? Much love.